Yeah, several little stories that continue our exploration into what it means to be human. The first is that story you may remember about Mullah Nasruddin. We know that he was known and renowned as some kind of mystic, but what was little known about him was that he was quite illiterate. He was not able to read and could barely write his name. But one day a wandering fakir came into town and said that for a few coins of silver that he could teach anyone how to read. So, taking up this offer, Mullah Nasruddin went over to him and greased his palm with silver, and the fakir put his hand on Mullah's head and said a few incantations over him and sent him on his way. Well, the next day the Mullah came racing into town, waving a book in the air. "Where's that fakir? Where is he? I want to see him. I want my money back." And people around the town said, "Well, Mullah, can you read?" And the Mullah said, "Yes, and this book says that all fakirs are rogues and charlatans and frauds. I want my money back. Where is he?" And the second story is about a brahmin. And although he was born into the priestly caste, he was born into a life of poverty. He could barely make a subsistence living for his family. So he decided to go to Benares to see if he could find work to sustain himself and his family. When he got to Benares, indeed there was more work available, so he was able to earn a little bit of a nest egg for himself. So he decided it was time to go back to his family, but he thought that it might be a good idea to invest in something. So to make it a double thing, he decided that he would buy some gold bracelets for his wife and his daughters. So he went to a goldsmith shop, and the goldsmith was very friendly to him, offered him sweet tea and was very courteous. So our Brahmin was very impressed with this, and so he purchased from the goldsmith several gold bracelets that he would take back to his wife, and he weighed them in his hand. Yes, it was obviously good quality and so forth. So he came back to his family, and of course his wife and his daughters were absolutely delighted with this gold, the gifts of gold that they'd received. And of course the Brahmin just loved having this attention from his family. But, so immediately the wife said, "I'm going to cook you your favorite meal." So she went over to the fire, but she was wearing her bracelets, and she said, "Oh, maybe it's not a bad idea if I test this gold in the fire." So she put it in the fire, and poof, it caught alight. It was just made of wax, gilded over, and so the bracelets just went up in flames. Well, of course, the Brahmin, when he saw this, he said, "Goldsmiths, rogues, rascals, thieves, all of them!" But then he ranted and raved, of course, and continued to do so, but he did realize that his wife wasn't that badly off while he was away. So he asked her, well, how have you sustained yourself? Well, she said, "I bought a she-goat from our local goldsmith, and it's been giving me milk ever since, so I milk the goat every day, and I can make cream, and I can make curd, and I can make cheese. So in this way I've been able to make it." And the Brahmin went off his brain. "Goldsmith? You bought it from a goldsmith? A goldsmith? They're rogues and rascals. It's probably made of wax." But she said, No, I go to milk it every day, and it gives me milk, and I can make the curd, and no, it has to be, they're rogues, they're charlatans. And even though she bought the she-goat over to the house and they pricked its ear to show that it bled, it was a real, no, all goldsmith, you bought it from the goldsmith, a rogue, a rascal. And do you know, even when they brought the local pundits who knew about all of these things to this brahmin and tried to convince him, no, he could never, and for the rest of his life, he stayed with his belief that goldsmiths, all goldsmiths were rogues, rascals, frauds, and rest of it. And the final story is about an Afghani man, and he decided he'd travel to India. And so he went off to India, and he was walking down the streets of one of those bazaars when he saw one of those shops that have all of those honeyed sweets that only the Indians can make, and he saw something that really took his fancy, and he pointed to it in the case, and he knew very few words, but the shopkeeper waved his arm over the glass case as if to say, yes, you can choose any one you like. But what our visitor, Afghani, thought, well, he's offering it to me, so he helped himself to a bit of this and a bit of that out of the glass case and really enjoyed having taste. And then he walked out of the shop, of course, with the shopkeeper chasing after him, wanting his money. And of course, the shopkeeper called the police, and they hauled off the Afghani, and they decided to make an example of him. What they did, people who come and try to steal from their country, and so they shaved his head and tied his bald head, and they put him on the back of a donkey and paraded him through town, so people could pelt him with fruit. And when the Afghani went back home, all his friends said to him, well, how was India? He said, oh, they were lovely people. They're really very nice people. They let you help yourself to whatever you want, and then they take you out, and then they shave you, and they dye your hair for you, and then they put you on a donkey so people can celebrate with you and give you fruit. No, they're lovely people, very hospitable. So, where is this all taking us, this exploration into what it means to be human? Are we getting a gleaning yet of what it is that's being indicated here? Because we know that these stories about humanness and the human condition can go on and on, but perhaps by now you're getting to have a little glimpse or a little gleaning of where it is that this exploration is taking us. What's your thought on this? What do these little anecdotes and those that have been told evoke for us as a recognition of something related to this that we call being human? What say you?
We all live in a different reality. Yeah. Each one is own until maybe you say we dismantle the conditioning, the perception.
Yes. Is it like what we would call being normal and realizing that there is no such thing that we can make a basis of? This being human. But where is it leading us, do you imagine? Have you got a gleaning yet about where we're going with this?